Greetings everyone, and I hope you're all happy and healthy out there in collecting land, and welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Damtoys Golden Years Edition Godfather, aka Marlon Brando, from the classic 1972 Mario Puzo written and Francis Ford Coppola directed movie The Godfather. The review will take the usual format. We'll have a quick look at the box, then it'll be down onto the table for a look at all the accessories, and trust me, there's a hell of a lot of them. Then it will be out with Don Vito Corleone himself for an up-close look, and then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end. But before we get into it, some background. Firstly, let's get this out of the way early doors. I am a massive Godfather fan, and in my humble opinion, it's the greatest gangster movie ever made. Simple as that. Well, at least parts 1 and 2. Part 3 doesn't quite capture the lofty heights of the first two, but it's still a good film. Others have come close. Scorsese's Goodfellas, De Palma's Scarface, Leone Once Upon a Time in America, to name but a few. But The Godfather parts 1 and 2 still remain the benchmark, the gold standard, if you will, for all gangster movies, in my opinion. And if you haven't seen them, do so immediately. That's an order. Also at this point, it's worth mentioning that this is actually part of a two-figure, I would say set, but they're companion pieces more. Damtoys released two versions. The Golden Years version, this one that we're going to look at today, was about 2 years ago and was a follow-up to the classic version released about 3 years ago, which will be coming up for review on the channel very, very soon. So hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing it. But that's enough of my Cosa Nostra ramblings. Onto the box, and a big box it is too. We seem to be having a plethora of oversized boxes on the channel recently. Yeah, it's a big one, but there's a reason for that, and we'll get to that when we get down onto the table with all the accessories. So what are we looking at? It's a very, very simple design. Lovely thick card, shoebox design, looks exceptionally classy. It's not splattered with images. All you've got on the front here is, in this salmon pink lettering, are Damtoys logo at the top there, The Godfather, and then in very small lettering here it says The Godfather 1972 Vito Corleone collectible figure, Golden Years version, and Paramount symbol at the bottom there. Obviously this is an officially licensed product. We'll try and manhandle this into, try and get it all into shot. It might be sideways here so we can see what's going on. Once again on the side here, very, very simple. Godfather symbol here, Damtoys at the top, that same lettering at the bottom there. Around the other side, it's the same story. Bring it round the back, and once again in that salmon pink lettering, you've got all the credits and all the warnings and all the usual information there. Warnings across the middle there, don't piss this figure off, or it might make you an offer you can't refuse. But yeah, that's the rather large box. So without further ado, oh yeah, worth mentioning at this point as well, this isn't a brand new figure to me. Had it in the collection since its release. However, a lot of the accessories are still in the box. I think this is only the second time this box has been opened since I received it. So what we'll do is what we always do. We will dive down onto the table and have a look at all the accessories that come with your Vito Corleone figure. Okay, so here we are, down on the table with all the accessories that come with your Vito Corleone figure. And as I said at the top there, this isn't a brand new figure to me. I've had this figure since its release. However, a lot of these accessories have been stored in the box, this is probably the first time actually I've had them all laid out in front of me like this, and it is absolutely incredible, the sheer quantity and the sheer quality of what Damtoys have offered us here. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to make no apologies as well for the length of this review. If it takes slightly longer than a normal review, I think then it takes slightly longer. This figure really needs to be done justice, but yeah, we'll crack on, and we'll start with the hands as we always do. You know me and my hands. There's a pair already on the figure, and we've got another 5 hands here, so you've got 7 hands in total. An odd number, I know, but with all these different accessories, there's obviously a reason for that. What we'll do is we'll grab 1 or 2 at random just to have a look. You've got sort of a fisted hand, you've got a sort of gesticulating stroke holding hand, a pointing hand. We'll take a look at a couple of them up close just to get an idea of the quality. And I hope the camera's picking this up here, but I have to say the quality of these hands is very, very good indeed. The level of sculpt here is great. There's bone work in there, there's vein work in there, there's reddening on the knuckles, there's creasing on the fingers. They've been aged. The fingernails are really well done. There's creasing in the palms. The paint applications here are what really set these hands apart. The way they've been aged. You've got a hint of liver spots on there. You've got sort of purple veins visible underneath the skin. There's multiple paint applications to give that aged skin texture. And it's the same with all the hands. We'll just take a look at this one. This is a gripping hand. And once again, it's that same level of paint application. You've got the sculpted in gold the ring on his finger there, which is once again screen accurate. Let's do the flexibility test. These are quite hard. I would say a medium to hard, erring on the side of hard. So perhaps not the easiest thing in the world to pose with. You may need to use a hairdryer or hot water when manipulating these hands, but overall the quality, let's just grab one more actually. I'm trying to just get this one into shot so you can see the level of detail that Damtoys have got here. Just phenomenal. It's really the paint application, the aging that stands out on these hands, and they're all the same high quality. So yeah, we'll put those to one side because there's a hell of a lot to get through here. We'll get some of the bigger stuff out the way first. We'll take a look at this chair actually so we can make some space. Now, there are multiple posing options from multiple scenes in the film that you can go for here, and we'll discuss those as we go along. But this chair and this table are supposed to represent the table and chair that we see in the Orange Grove towards the end of the film where Don Vito passes away. We'll take a look at the table first. Now, all one piece of sculpted plastic. It's got some heft to it. It's solid plastic. It's not hollow. The paint applications on here are really nice. The sculpting is excellent to recreate wood. Actually, from a distance, you would be forgiven for mistaking this for actual wood. We'll start with the bottom underneath. Yeah, you've got these legs which have been grained with the sculpting process, and then the paint applications on there. Then it's not an even paint application on here. You've got sort of like a more varnished effect on there. There's some weathering on here. The dry brushing is great. The crevices are picked out really well. The wood grain is picked out really well and sculpted. It's even got felt feet on the legs here at the end of each of the legs, so it's not going to move around too much in your display if you choose to use it. The top as well, I mean, there's no folding action or anything like this. The top, once again, really well sculpted. Multiple paint applications. There's sort of they've gone for almost a greeny yellow on certain portions of this to give it that slightly mildewed look, that look as though it's been outside for a period of time. Which is really well done, and yeah, just a quality sculpt there of the 1/6 scale table. So we'll put that to one side, and we'll take a look at the chair. So as I say, we can get some of this big stuff out of the way and make some space. The wicker chair. Now, if I can get all this in shot, it'll be nothing short of a miracle. It is very big. Once again, all one piece of sculpted plastic, but it's the wicker recliner that he sits in the Orange Grove. And an amazing level of detail and paintwork here. Once again, you'd be forgiven for mistaking this for real wicker from a distance. The paint applications are fantastic. The sculpt is absolutely on point. It's got some heft to it. It's that level of paint application is continued around the back. This is so big I'm knocking over other accessories. Try and keep this all in shot. But yeah, the way it's been sculpted, the way it's been painted, it just gives it that real level of depth and realism. There's browns in there, there's shiny areas, there's dry brushing in there to pick out the detailing. Just overall, a fantastic piece and very well made. So yeah, that's the recliner. While we're on the subject of the recliner, let's take a look at the cushions. In actual fact, we'll bring this the chair back into shot. And it is a job juggling all these accessories for this section. You get two cushions to go with the recliner itself. Now, these are essentially real cushions. They're not sculpted plastic. They are not. They just essentially function as cushions. Put that to one side. Yeah, what you're looking at here is a cotton material over the top of foam. As I say, essentially a cushion. The stitch work here is really, really nice. You've got this piping around the edges, this white piping around the edges, these button sections in the center here. The screen accuracy is absolutely on point as far as I can tell. I've seen the film more times than I care to remember. We will revisit some stills later on in this review, but they've even weathered these cushions to make them look like the chair's been used, and that maybe it's been outdoors as well. So there's weathering on the cushion sections there's weathering on the piping, and that's continued in this section as well. So yeah, that's the back section, I believe, and that's the front section. So yeah, we'll try and get this actually into shot so you can see this. So yeah, so you can recreate that whole chair effect. And it's fantastic to see Damtoys have actually just made real cushions rather than come up with some cheaper solution. They've used material, they've done the stitch work, they've done the weathering, and yeah, very, very good piece indeed. So we'll put that to one side. Right, well, while we're doing the big stuff, let's take a look at this stand. Now, we'll get this into shot. I can reach all the way over here and move some of these other accessories out of the way. So this base has got some real heft to it. It is very, very heavy indeed. It's plastic on the bottom. Now, this section on the top here is a harder, thicker plastic, but it really does have some weight to it. We'll start on the bottom. Have a quick look at the bottom. Fortunately, no feet on here. It would have been nice to have seen some felt feet or some rubber feet on the bottom there to give it some grip in the display, but it is what it is. It says Damtoys on the top. You've got Godfather there and 2020 Paramount Pictures. Around the front here, you've got this black plastic edging with a metal nameplate and a gold metal nameplate with Vito Corleone on it. I think that is really nice that it's metal. And let's get to this top. Now, this top, and I'm not sure whether this is actually plastic or polystone. The weight to this, I'm actually starting to think that this section round here, this edging section, is actually polystone. It feels like polystone. It's cold to the touch. In fact, I'm actually pretty certain that's polystone. And to see polystone done this well is a joy, shall we say. But it's got a party piece. What you've got here is this street pavement sidewalk type effect, which is really nicely done. You've got multiple shading, multiple different colours of flagstone there with dints in it. There's dry brushing and washes in there to make it look more realistic. You've got the curbstones here, and they're cracked. If I can get this into shot, they're cracked, they're chipped, they're weathered, they're uneven. Just looks absolutely on point. Really, really well done. And this is the way you can use this base if you're wanting to go for the sequence in the movie where Vito is actually shopping for oranges and gets gunned down in the street. But if you're not wanting to do that, this is its party piece. You can remove this section. This section comes away entirely. And what you can do is, and we'll bring in this other. Now, this has never been opened. This literally has never been opened. So this is the first time this has been out of the bag. So we'll open this up, and you get this extra section of turf, which simply slots in to the base like that. Now, this is if you're wanting to obviously pose them in the orange grove. You can use this as well. Now, I'll take this off for a second, actually. I can get my fingernails underneath here and get... Actually, I'll just tip it out. It'll be a lot easier. Yeah, what they've done here is given us some artificial turf Damtoys, and it's really, really nicely done. It's not all one colour. There are browns in there, there are yellows, there are greens, and it really does. If I can get this as close into shot as possible, you can actually see the different colours they've used in there, and it really does create a very, very good turf effect, and that sits in snugly into there. So you've got that posing option as well. So you've got that's the base with the interchangeable plates, and I have to say I love this base. I think it is phenomenal. Very simple idea, but just having this plate that swaps out, you can completely change the scene that you've got the figure in representing. So yeah, wonderful work there. So we'll put that to one side, and we'll crack on with some of the smaller accessories. Clothing. Now, the figure itself does come with an overcoat, but we'll take a look at that when we bring the figure out. You also get this this cardigan jumper pullover, whatever you want to call it. Now, as you can tell, I've never used this in the display. This is literally the first time it's been out of the box. But this is meant to represent the cardigan that he wears when he's in the Orange Grove, just prior to his death. We'll take this card out and have a look at it. Now, what you're looking at, then, this feels like wool to me. It doesn't feel like cotton, it feels like wool. And the weave on there, the 6 scale weave, is absolutely excellent, I have to say. You know me in my 6 scale clothing, and downsizing a weave like this to 1/6 scale and doing it accurately is not the easiest thing in the world, but Damtoys have nailed it. The stitch work on here is fantastic. The screen accuracy is there. The colour is right. You've got snap fasteners all the way up the front there. The cuffs they're not elasticated, but they've been stitched really, really well. And yeah, if you're wanting to go replicate that sequence of him in the Orange Grove, then that is the item of clothing for you. Once again, great tailoring, great attention to detail, great screen accuracy. So we'll put that to one side, put that on the chair. What else do you get? His hat. Now, this is, I have to say, this is very, very nicely done. It's not sculpted plastic. What you've got here, and collectors of 6 scale figures will know what I'm talking about here when I say it's sort of like that compressed felt, if you will. It's almost like this. There's a stiff card maybe or plastic underneath, and then it's got this compressed felt on top, and to keep its shape. And it really is very, very nice. The shade is right. The style is right. You've got, rather than a sculpted plastic, you've got a real material tie around the centre of the hat there, and it's just very, very nicely done. The style is screen accurate, the colour is screen accurate, and it just looks very good. So that's his hat. Put that to one side. Let's take a look at the cat now. As fans of The Godfather will know, allegedly Marlon Brando adopted this cat while on set, and it then got integrated into the film. There is a version of this cat that comes with the other version of the figure, the classic version, shall we say, where it's curled up in his lap. But this one's wandering around, and yeah, it's a sculpted 6 scale cat, very nicely done. There's nice paint applications on there. It's all one piece of sculpted plastic. The face is done really, really well. The sculpt to make the fur look realistic is well done, and we come around the back there and it's definitely a male cat. So yeah, the 6 scale cat. We'll put that to one side, and the light's dim there for some strange reason. A 6 scale plate. One piece of plastic, one piece of sculpted plastic to go with your 6 scale oranges. These are really nicely done. There's some texturing on there to give that dimpled surface of an orange with the green bit at the top there. Multiple uses these oranges will come to, but if you're using this with maybe the table and the chair and having him reclining in the orangery, you can have them on the plate next to him on the table. Or alternatively, you can use this accessory, and it's just a straightforward brown paper bag. Now, this is for the use in the sequence where he's actually crossing the road and he gets gunned down after he's bought the oranges. Now, the bag itself, unfortunately, only comes with 2 oranges, so you can't fill this bag up with oranges. What I've done is I've stuffed some of the plastic bags that the other accessories came in and the silica gel in there. And if you do that, what you can actually do is pop the oranges on top, and you can have him carry in the bag, and those oranges are visible. So yeah, that's the oranges, the bag, and the plate. Also comes with this newspaper, really nicely done as well, and it's the quality of the paper they've used here is the first thing that strikes you. It's not, if anyone's had a 6 scale figure where there are paper accessories, often they can be wafer thin and really delicate, crease and bend really easily. This feels like it's got some weight to it and some quality to it, this paper. But yeah, it's very, very simply just it's one sheet, and I'll try and unfold this on camera. It's just one sheet that's been doubled over and then doubled over again. But it's just really nicely done. You've got Vito Corleone, it says Daily News, Vito Corleone feared murdered, police hunt gunman. There's photographs on there. The detailing is really, really nice. They've even put some, painted in some creases in this paper to add to the authenticity, and there's all kinds of bits and pieces going on the inside of that paper as well. So yeah, that's there as well. You can have it on the table next to him or under his arm, carrying it. Really, the choice is yours. So put that to one side. Spare wrist pegs, always great to see. Unopened, even better to see. Also get this one scale decanter and glass. Now, both plastic, very nicely done. Once again, you can have these on the table next to him. What I'm assuming is meant to look like whiskey, which just looks like paint, or is that more? I think that's actually orange plastic on the inside there that they've added, but same with the glass as well. So yeah, you get your 1/6 scale whiskey decanter and glass, and that is it. And there's a hell of a lot going on there as well. So yeah. Oh, it's not it. I almost forgot the most important element, the head sculpts. Now, these two head sculpts are still in their plastic simply because I use the third head sculpt, which is already on the figure, which we'll take a look at when it comes out. But yeah, Damtoys have included 3 head sculpts with this one. As I say, they have gone to town here, so we'll take a look at a couple of them. We'll take a look at this sleeping head sculpt first, or well, I say sleeping, it could very well be dead head sculpt. But yeah, this is the closed eye head sculpt. Now, I'll try and get this as close into camera as I can so you can see the level of detailing here. Now, the sculpt is absolutely on point, it really is. The level of paint applications as well really, really are amazing. In actual fact, what we'll do is we'll bring both into shot simultaneously. Now, I believe this head sculpt, or I'll have to double check between takes, is one that comes with the classic version, the formal version. But they've included 3. The other one, as I say, we will take a look at when we bring the figure out. But yeah, the likeness absolutely on point. The sculpt very, very good indeed. The paint applications, particularly, and I'll bring this one right into shot. The paint applications for the skin texture are superb. You've got all different tones and textures on there to indicate its age. There's creasing in there, there's folding in there. You can see and I believe it was cotton wool that Marlon Brando put in his lower jaw there to give him that distinctive sounding voice. You can even see those protrusions there, the moustache, the eyebrows. Really well done. There's a slight shading under the eyes to give it that slightly sunken but not too sunken look. There's creasing in the forehead. Let's take a look at the hair. Once again, that hair is really, really well done, as is the rest of the sculpt. There's just subtle hints of grey in there. There are individual strands picked out. The style is absolutely on point. There's slightly more greying in the one on the right than there is on the left, but it's barely perceptible. And we'll take a look at the hair on the other one. And actually, what we'll do is we'll bring some photos into shot here of the. Now, this is they've had to compromise here, I think, to a certain extent, because there are a number of different, I wouldn't say looks, but different aspects to him. Now, yeah, I mean, you could argue here that this is not aged enough. If this is meant to be him sleeping or dead, then yeah. If we look at this picture here in particular, there's a lot more aging going on there. There is, and so yeah, it's. I would say that this one's off, and it does need. It would have probably helped to this head sculpt have been aged a lot more. If we bring this one in. This is a lot younger, obviously, and probably more in keeping with the actual sequence where he is shot when he's crossing the road after buying the oranges. But yeah, you could say maybe this one needed a lot more aging, and I would agree with you on that one. But there is a third head sculpt, and we'll bring that out and do some comparisons as well with that one. But yeah, so there are your 2 swap out head sculpts, and that is all the accessories that come with your Don Vito Corleone figure. And I am out of breath. Thank goodness this take is coming to a close. So what we'll do next is I will pause for breath and have a cuppa off camera, and we'll bring out Don Vito himself, get him onto the stand, get him onto the turntable, and have an up close look. Okay, so here he is. It's the Don himself onto the stand, onto the turntable, As I mentioned at the top there, had this figure since it was first released, so I can't give first impressions. However, as regulars to my channel will know, I can give 800th, 900th impression, and still today, this figure blows me away. I think it is absolutely phenomenal. The proportions, the screen accuracy, the tailoring, the head sculpt, everything comes together absolutely fantastically. But we will do as we always do. We'll have an up-close look at this guy. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. We'll stop him from spinning. One of the downsides, which we'll cover now, but we'll obviously we'll have the pros and cons section at the end as we always do. But one of the downsides is worth mentioning, is that this figure is pretty much free floating on this stand. There's no crotch grabber. Perhaps Damtoys could have taken a leaf out of, say, caustic plastic or an arts book and used magnets. I would have liked to have seen that. Magnets in the feet, magnets in the stand. I'm not saying the figure's unstable. He stands very, very well on his own. The body is of a very high quality, and the articulation is good for a figure that's clothed this way. But yeah, it would have been nice to have seen the magnetic option being explored, shall we say, by Damtoys. But yeah, we'll cover all the niggles, shall we say, if there are any at the end. Let's have a close look at this guy. What we'll do first of all is we'll take off this bag of oranges, because that is simply sat on his arm, and we'll go flying if I take him off the stand, and we'll take off his hat as well, and we'll bring him into shot for a close-up look. So where to start? Let's start with these feet. So the feet themselves now, they're all one piece of sculpted plastic, these shoes. They're an Oxford, a black Oxford by the looks of it, which is screen accurate, sculpted in laces. The articulation is good, as you'd expect on a ball joint there, so there's movement all the way around. There's black socks, which is great to see. There's some weathering on these shoes, if the camera's catching this. On the tips of the shoes, there's some dry brushing to give it some weathering, and there's some weathering across the top as well. Got a nice sole underneath, which has been nicely painted. Yeah, the weathering is good, but it's not over the top. They're not overly weathered. They look warm, but they don't look distressed, shall we say. But yeah, so those shoes are nice. Let's move up to this suit now. There's a lot of layers on this figure, so we will try and unlayer him as we go. What you've got is what feels like a cotton. I'll try and get this lengthways on, actually. Easier to hold it lengthways on. It feels like a really, really high quality cotton in this suit. What we're looking at here is, I'll say it's a pinstripe, but it's not technically a pinstripe. What you've got is sort of an alternating weave to create sort of a shiny stripe and then a slightly duller stripe in the material itself, which once again is screen accurate. The stitch work, and you all know me and my 6 scale stitch work, I am a stickler for getting it right, and as you can see, the quality here of the stitch work is very good indeed. In the turn-ups, in the seams there, just very, very nicely done. They fall exceptionally well. They're really, really well done. Moving up to the waistline, now it's a high-waisted trouser, this one, which is in keeping with the character, in keeping with the suit, and in keeping with the times. There's a Velcro fastening at the top there. The articulation in these legs is good. It's nice and stiff, but not overly stiff. It feels like the body they've used under here is of a high quality. It really does. What you get sewing around the groin area is padding, and this padding continues all the way up to the bottom of the neck there. It's out in the shoulders as well. And there's a fat suit on here to create the right proportions. Let's take a look at the overcoat. Now, this coat feels like a wool material, which is nice to see. It doesn't feel like a cotton. The weave is very, very nice. The colouring is absolutely on point, screen accurate. And the stitch work, well, I'm going to bang on about this stitch work, I know, but I'll try and get this into shot. The quality of the stitch work on here is really superb. There's no other word for it. The coat itself is lined with this darker grey man-made fibre. The pockets are functioning and really well stitched, as are the lapels. You've got 6 scale buttons down this side, 6 scale buttons on the cuffs. We'll bring it round the back. Once again, that level of stitch work is continued throughout the collar and in the shoulder areas and down the arms. Just overall, the proportions are fantastic, the fall is right, the material is of a high quality and is screen accurate, and it's just really, really well done. And sort of the icing on the cake here is that Damtoys have actually wired this whole area around the bottom of the coat itself, so you can really go to town with the posing on this. I think there's actually some wire in this section as well, but just at the ends. And so you can have the coat being caught by the wind, or you can have it opened up in the wind almost like this. So really, yeah, great to see the inclusion of wire there by Damtoys. So moving up to the jacket itself, let's lower these arms and let's get this. I'm not going to take that arm out of that pocket, but yeah, let's take a look at this jacket. Now, the jacket underneath, I'll try and get this as close as I can, is the same material, obviously, but the same level of really, really high quality stitch work. You've got functioning pockets here, which are slightly angled, once again, screen accurate. The top pocket doesn't function, but the stitch work is just exemplary. Really, really good, and it falls well, and yeah, just overall an exceptionally good job here from Damtoys. This gives you multiple sort of display options as well. As you peel the layer, and this is one thing I have noticed about this figure, as you peel the layers off, a lot of the time when you've got a suited figure like this, as you peel layers off, the proportions start to drop off, and it starts to look wrong. But as you take the layers off this particular figure, those proportions don't go, they stay the same. I think that is down to the sheer quality of the tailoring here and the fall of the clothing. But I think it's also down to, in some part, to this fat suit that he's got on underneath, which really just keeps the proportions right, whichever display option you go for. Underneath this jacket, you've got this cotton shirt. Now, this cotton shirt it's a very nice cotton actually, and it's, once again, stitch work great, tailoring is excellent, and you've got these low pockets which you actually see in the film itself, not only in the orange grow sequence at the end, but also in other parts of the film. I believe I've actually got a shot of that here. Let's just take a quick look. Bear with me while I find that, but. I'm pretty certain that the colours are on point here, as is the cut of the shirt. He said confidently, trying to find the right shot. I have got so many pictures. Here we go. So many pictures of this guy. Now, as you can see there, that colour is absolutely nailed on. It really is, as is the stripe in the suit there. If we actually, I'll keep this in shot actually, because what I want to show here is these braces. Now, they've actually put fully working braces on here. They're not sculpted in any way. They're actually attached to the trousers here, front and back, with these plastic clips. Yeah, let's just bring that back in, and the colour is absolutely on point, as is the colour of the shirt and where those pockets are situated. So yeah, absolutely nailed that one as far as I can see. So we'll put that to one side. But yeah, you've got multiple posing options here. You can go for the full coat and jacket like we've got here. You can just go for jacket, or you can take the jacket off itself and have him posed in the olive grow sequence, or just, you know, as is. And it really, really does give you so many options for displaying this figure. Let's take a look at this tie. The tie, now this tie, once again, colour is screen accurate, and what's really great to see here is that Damtoys have used this sort of coated nylon material. I do like to see this. So many times you'll see 6 scale figures that are it's just normal material, and futzing around with that knot to get it right, getting the tie to fall straight is a nightmare. It's a really simple solution, but I think it works really, really well. The only probably downside I've noticed in owning this figure is that this collar can sometimes go off a little bit, and it needs some futzing to get it to fall. As you can see there, this one side wants to tuck in while this other side wants to stick out. But yeah, it just takes a little bit of futzing to get it so it's even and there's some symmetry to it. But yeah, so jacket, superb. Pants superb, shirt really well done, great addition with the braces, everything screen accurate. The coat itself, fantastic material, wired. The whole thing falls incredibly well. It looks screen accurate, and it just smacks of quality. So let's take a look at this head sculpt. Now, this is the third head sculpt, the one that we didn't look at down in the accessories section. My personal favourite, I have to say. I think this one is probably the best of the three, but it's personal taste. I think once again, and if the light's catching this, the paint applications and sculpting that skin to give it aging, the crow's feet around the side of the eyes, ever so slightly darker under the eyes, the slightly upturned corner of the mouth really does fit with the character for me. The paint applications for the moustache and the hair are all on point. And it's those striations in the skin that give it that age, which really just add to that extra sense of realism. You've got slightly furrowed eyebrows, what looks like minor liver spots maybe starting. There's a jowliness to the neck, but it's not overly pronounced. I'm going to bring those photos back in so we can just do some more comparisons, and you might get a better impression of why this is my preferred head sculpt. And it's a little bit. I'm trying to find the right photo here, or one that there we go. Now, yeah, you could probably say that this is this is the wedding sequence. So it's probably slightly older in this one, but I think this probably gives us a better idea of the accuracy of this head sculpt here. So yeah, there you have it. There's multiple shots here that you can compare it to. I think. It's probably one of the only things that actually that is slightly off is that third head sculpt, but we'll cover that in our roundup at the end. So yeah, that's the third head sculpt, and as I say, my preferred head sculpt. So there you have it. Let's get him back onto the stand and go in for final thoughts on this guy. We didn't cover articulation there. The articulation is very good. It's good all over. The thing is, you're never going to have this in a really particularly dynamic pose, but collectors of 6-scale figures will know what I'm talking about when I say the actual the feel of the body when you're holding it and when you're manipulating those joints. It just says, this is a good body, and it's no jankiness. There's no overly stiffness. It's great to see a body that's actually pitched just right, where it's not ridiculously stiff, but it's not literally wobbling around when you pick the figure up. So yeah, there you have it. Let's get him spinning again. Let's hope he doesn't fall over, and go in for final thoughts on this guy. So, and he's looking a little bit unsecure there, so we're going to just have a quick futz to try and ensure that he doesn't fall over. He's not wanting to stand up straight here. Bear with me. And as I say, this is one of the downsides. We'll put him at a slight angle there. He seems more secure at that angle. This is one of the downsides with this figure, is that base. The lack of crotch grabber and the fact that they didn't go with magnets wouldn't really add that much to the price of this figure at retail. So yeah, maybe that's a slight downside. Let's keep going with the downsides. Probably the only other downside I have with this figure is this third head sculpt, it not being aged enough. I think they could have done a better job there. If this is intended to be the sequence where he passes away in the olive grove, which I'm assuming it is, it's not it's not old enough. It's not weathered enough. He's far more jowly. The makeup was far heavier to age him in that particular scene. So yeah. This head sculpt is definitely off. The other two, however, are absolutely spot on, in my opinion. The plus sides of this figure, wow, where to begin? Okay, we've already talked about the downsides of the base, but the plus sides of the base are the way it looks, the materials they've used, the sculpting on there, the interchangeable plates, so you can go from street scene to olive grove sequence, the metal nameplate. Great base, bar the magnets. The accessories, well, what can I say about the accessories that I haven't already said? Absolutely phenomenal. Quantity, quality, the lounger with the cushions, with the table. You can go for multiple display options, really pick your scene. and just the standard of paint applications and sculpt on all of the accessories is exemplary. The tailoring. I'm not going to bang on too much about that, but you know me and my 1/6 scale tailoring. The tailoring here is just simply superb, and I know I'm using a lot of praising words, shall we say, but it deserves it. I've sort of got a unofficial top 10 of best tailored suits on 1/6 scale figures, and trust me, this is up there with them. I really need to do a video on that, actually. It's the likes of Caustic Plastics, not Caustic Plastic, I beg your pardon, Big Chief Studios, Peaky Blinders figures, although Caustic Plastic is in there as well, with things like the Bela Lugosi figure. To get the suit right, get it to fall right, get the right material is a damn hard job, and they've absolutely nailed it on Damtoys here. So yeah, tailoring, brilliant. Screen accuracy, amazing. Accessories, wonderful. Now, I'm in a little bit of a quandary here, so I'm going to do what I've only ever done in one other review, and that's give two scores. An objective score and a subjective score. And stay with me on this, there are reasons for that. Objectively, because of that, the issue with the base, there being no crotch grabber and no magnets, and because of the issue with the aging, I think, on this particular head sculpt, I would have to give it a 9. However, subjectively, I'm going to give it a 10. I absolutely love this figure. I think as a representation of Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone in The Godfather, I don't think there's a better figure out there. I don't. I don't own any others, so that's a bit of a moot point. However, I'm going on what I've seen, and I would say this is quite possibly the best, if not one of the best, the best Godfather figures out there in 1/6 scale. I love it. I absolutely love it as a companion piece to the formal wear version, which is coming up for review on the channel soon. I think they're wonderful. The display amazingly, everything about it's just smacks of class. So yeah, personally, 10 out of 10. Professionally, a 9 out of 10. So there you have it. That is Damtoys' take on Marlon Brando as Don Vito Corleone. So what are your thoughts on this? I would be absolutely fascinated to hear. Are you a fan of the film? Are you a fan of Damtoys? What do you think of the figure? Do you have it in your collection? Whatever it might be, please, I'd be fascinated to hear. So pop a comment in the comment section below. And I hope this review's been useful for you. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, a raft of stuff, as regulars to the channel will know, but we'll run through briefly some of the highlights in the 1/6 scale world. Obviously, we're going to be taking a look at the formal wear version of Damtoys Godfather. That'll be coming up soon. We've got the in-art Batman. That's on its way to us as we speak. We've got Org Toys Duke Leto to go with the Gurney Halleck from Dune. Premier Toys Doof Warrior from Man Bags Fury Road, along with the Interstellar figures. They're on the way to us. Present Toys, a whole list of Present Toy stuff. I won't even go into the Present Toy stuff because the list is that long. Caustic Plastics, Horror of Dracula, Deluxe Edition. That's on its way to us. Astro Boy, Deluxe Edition, Blitzway. That's on its way to us. Also as well, in the not too distant future, we're going to be getting the new Hot Toys Deadpool figure from Deadpool and Wolverine. So that's going to be an early release, if I can speak on that one. We're going to be replacing the sort of quarterly showcase collection room tours that we do, because they can drag on because there's so much to look at, and they can last an hour to 2 hours long. So what we're going to do is going to break it down into sort of more bite-sized pieces, and we're going to do sort of mini showcases of genres, characters, and so on. And we're going to be kicking the whole thing off with a sort of a Batman mini showcase, and that'll be coming up on the channel as well pretty soon. So yeah, as you can tell, there's an awful lot coming up. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the 1/6 scale goodness and anything else that comes up on the channel as well. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching, a massive thank you to everybody who's already subscribed to the channel. From me, from Don Corleone, Luca Brazzi sleeps with the fishes. Take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.